son placed his millionaire mother in a retirement facility and then simply walked away. After she passed away, on the day of the reading of her last will and testament, he found out that he was not the sole inheritor of the entire fortune. But what transpired immediately after that moment changed absolutely everything. Marcelo Azevedo, who was 35 years of age, was the only child of Dona Irachema, a wealthy 78-year-old millionaire widow. She possessed a massive fortune valued at $20 million in various properties and financial investments. When she first began to show signs of Alzheimer's disease, Marcelo immediately placed her in the Villa Esperanza retirement home. He hardly ever made the effort to go and visit her there. "Mom, you are going to be much better and safer staying here. I simply do not have the necessary time to properly look after you." Dona Irachema, with deep sadness and tears welling up in her eyes, replied, "But my dear son, I raised you completely on my own. I never let you lack for anything at all. I promise. Please, don't abandon me here alone. You must remember that you are getting quite old. This nursing home is far too expensive. It already costs more than it deserves." And then he simply vanished. He never, ever came back again. The person who looked after her was Benedita, the domestic employee who served the family for 30 years. She made sure to visit Dona Irachema without fail. Each and every day, she would bring fresh flowers, read her favorite books aloud, and gently comb her beautiful gray hair, caring for her with the same devotion as if she were her very own mother. But just 2 years later, Dona Irachema sadly passed away. Benedita was standing right there beside her, gently holding her hand securely. On the day of the reading of the last will and testament, Marcelo arrived full of excitement at the attorney's office. He was extremely eager and anxious to receive his portion of the inheritance. Benedita was present as well, standing quietly in the corner, looking humble. The attorney then commenced the reading of the last will and testament of Iracema Azevedo. Este that is in a city. "I hereby leave my 20 million Brazilian reais and all of my personal property to Benedita Santos, my loyal and faithful housekeeper, who gave me affection at the time my own son abandoned me." Marcelo suddenly rose from his chair, screaming, "This is absolutely impossible. She is nothing more than a mere employee. That entire fortune belongs exclusively to me." The lawyer then proceeded. "To my son Marcelo, I am leaving behind only this letter." Marcelo opened it, his hands shaking, and then he began to read. "My son, you abandoned me here in this nursing home, and then you simply vanished. But Benedita, she came to visit me here every single day without fail. She offered me true love and affection when all you ever gave me was utter loneliness. She deserves every single thing in this world, but you deserve absolutely nothing at all. Mother!" Marcelo dropped down onto his knees, sobbing uncontrollably. "No, no. I am your son." Benedita slowly approached him, holding the envelope, and then she spoke these words. "Your mother specifically requested that I personally deliver this item to you." Inside the envelope was an old, faded photograph of Marcelo as a small child, sitting securely on his mother's lap, and written clearly on the back, it said, "I have loved you unconditionally throughout my entire life. You only showed me love when it was convenient for your own needs." It's exactly what people always say. 10 children are not worth the value of one mother. Marcelo walked out of the office, his spirit utterly destroyed. He had lost everything he possessed. His own greed and his abandonment of responsibility cost him his entire inheritance. Benedita utilized the funds to establish a complimentary retirement home specifically for abandoned seniors, and she installed a plaque right at the main entrance, Iracema House, where every senior is loved exactly as they deserve. And years later, Marcelo, now completely broken, utterly alone, came knocking on the door of that same house, pleading for shelter. Benedita slowly opened the door, and then she said to him, "Please come in. No one is ever turned away or abandoned in this place." He immediately dropped down, up on his knees. "Why are you helping me now that I have completely lost everything?" "Because your mother taught me how to love without any conditions whatsoever. She loved me even while she was working as a humble servant. I will continue to love you even when you possess absolutely nothing." Marcelo wept bitterly, and finally understood the profound truth. Genuine, unconditional love will never abandon anyone, and anyone who chooses to abandon others ultimately loses everything. Let's pause for a moment and reflect on this. Love is truly worth more than all the riches in the world. If this particular story has managed to touch your heart, please tell me which specific part resonated with you the most, and make sure to share this message with a special person in your life.